Next chapter, Top 8 Secrets for Achieving Success. In short, success means attainment of a goal. During our lifetime, success comes and goes, but we should keep on moving until we achieve a goal. Success is a part in the journey of our life and it is not a destination. To achieve the success, we should work hard. Success won't come until we work. In the dictionary itself, we have never seen the word success comes before the work. Likewise, we should work in order to achieve the success. Here are some principles we have to follow in our life to attain a success. Never be late. Better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late. William Shakespeare. Be simple. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated, confused. Expect little. You say, if I had a little more, I should be very satisfied. You make a mistake. If you are not content with what you have, you would not be satisfied if it were doubled. Charles Haddon Spurgeon. Work more. One machine can do the work of 50 ordinary men. No machine can do the work of one extraordinary man. Thomas Alva Edison. Think positive. I haven't failed. I have found 10,000 ways that don't work. Thomas Alva Edison. Smile always. Peace begins with a smile. Mother Teresa. Don't argue. Arguments are to be avoided. They are always vulgar and often convincing. Oscar Wilde. Be confident. I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute. Warren Buffett. Next chapter, Business Motivational Course for Entrepreneurs. In the business world, everyone is paid in 2 coins, cash and experience. Take the experience first, the cash will come later. Harold Janin. Try, and keep on trying is the rule that must be followed to become an expert in anything. W. Clement Stone. Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the boldness, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover. Mark Twain. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Zig Ziglar. You must fall in love with what you do, because being an entrepreneur is a lot of hard work and overcoming a lot of adversity. From that love will come the dedication that will get you out of bed at 4 a.m. because of a great idea you just had and get you to work till 11 p.m. and not feel tired, confilled. To be successful, you have to have your heart in your business and your business in your heart. Thomas Watson Sr. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Albert Schweitzer. Success is dependent upon the glands, sweat glands. Zig Ziglar. Every day I get up and look through the Forbes list of the richest people in America. If I am not there, I go to work. Robert Orban. A pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. Winston Churchill. If you listen to your fears, you will die never knowing what a great person you might have been. Robert Heitzler. If there is anything that a man can do well, I say let him do it. Give him a chance. Abraham Lincoln. The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. Vince Lombardi. If I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. Abraham Lincoln. Once you say you are going to settle for a second, that is what happens to you in life. John F. Kennedy. Business is more exciting than any game. Lord Beaverbrook. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. John C. Maxwell. Always treat your employees exactly as you want them to treat your best customers. Stephen Covey. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. Bill Cosby. Vision without action is daydreaming, and action without vision is a nightmare. Chinese proverb. The golden rule for every businessman is this: put yourself in your customer's place, Horizon Sweatmadin. Punctuality is one of the cardinal business virtues. Always insist on it in your subordinates. Don Marcus. If the career you have chosen has some unexpected inconvenience, console yourself by reflecting that no career is without them. Jane Fonda. Time is the scarcest resource, and unless it is managed, nothing else can be managed. Peter Drucker. Leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. But if you must be without one, be without the strategy. Norman Schwarzkopf. The important thing is not being afraid to take a chance. Remember, the greatest failure is to not try. Once you find something you love to do, be the best at doing it. Debbie Fields. The winners in life think constantly in terms of I can, I will, and I am. Losers, on the other hand, concentrate their waking thoughts on what they should have or would have done or what they can't do. Dennis Welty. Business is in itself a power. Garrett. One of the tests of leadership is the ability to recognize a problem before it becomes an emergency. Arnold H. Glasso. A man should never neglect his family for business. Walt Disney. The only limits are, as always, those of vision. James Brownton. If you don't go after what you want, you will never have it. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you don't step forward, you are always in the same place. Nora Roberts. Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning. Bill Gates. You can't operate a company by fear, because the way to eliminate fear is to avoid criticism, and the way to avoid criticism is to do nothing. Steve Ross. Sooner or later, those who win are those who think they can. Paul Tournier. I don't pay good wages because I have a lot of money. I have a lot of money because I pay good wages. Robert Bosch. To think that the new economy is over is like somebody in London in 1830 saying the entire industrial revolution is over because some textile manufacturers in Manchester went broke. Alvin Toffler. I feel that luck is preparation meeting opportunity. Oprah Winfrey. If you did not look after today's business, then you might as well forget about tomorrow. Isaac Mopotelen. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are right. Henry Ford. Who likes not his business likes not him. William Hazlitt. The man who will use his skill and constructive imagination to see how much he can give for $1 instead of how little he can give for $1 is bound to succeed. Henry Ford. If you work just for money, you will never make it. But if you love what you are doing and you always put the customer first, success will be yours. Ray Kroc. Being able to touch so many people through my businesses and make money while doing it is a huge blessing. Magic Johnson. The entrepreneur always searches for change, responds to it, and exploits it as an opportunity. Peter F. Drucker. Business is a combination of war and sport. Henry Morales. The great accomplishments of man have resulted from the transmission of ideas of enthusiasm. Thomas J. Watson. Look well to this day. Yesterday is but a dream and tomorrow is only a vision. But today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well therefore to this day. Francis Gray. Surviving a failure gives you more self-confidence. Failures are great learning tools, but they must be kept to a minimum. Jeffrey Immelt. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when mixed with the definiteness of purpose and burning desire, can be translated into riches. Napoleon Hill. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Charles Darwin. The only way around is through. Robert Frost. If you owe the bank $100, that is your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that is the bank's problem. J. Paul Getty. Disneyland is a work of love. We didn't go into Disneyland just with the idea of making money. Walt Disney. You only have to do a very few things right in your life so long as you don't do too many things wrong. Warren Buffett. You need to be aware of what others are doing, applaud their efforts, acknowledge their successes, and encourage them in their pursuit. When we all help one another, everybody wins. Jim Stovall. It takes more than capital to swing business. You have got to have the AID degree to get by. Advertising, initiative, and dynamics. Isaac Asimov. People are definitely a company's greatest asset. It doesn't make any difference whether the product is cars or cosmetics. A company is only as good as people it keeps. Mary Kay Ash. In business, I have discovered that my purpose is to do my best to my utmost ability every day. That is my standard. I learned early in my life that I had high standards. Donald Trump. The absolute fundamental aim is to make money out of satisfying customers. John Egan. Let's be honest, there is not a business anywhere that is without problems. Business is complicated and imperfect. Every business everywhere is stamped with imperfect human beings and exists by providing a product or service to other imperfect human beings. Bob Parsons. The man who does not work for the love of work but only for money is not likely to neither make money nor find much fun in life. Charles M. Schwab. Far and away the best prize that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. Theodore Roosevelt. To win without risk is to triumph without glory. Pierre Carnley. Management is nothing more than motivating other people. Lee Iacocca. To succeed, you need to find something to hold on to, something to motivate you, something to inspire you. Tony Dorsett. Whether it is Google or Apple or free software, we have got some fantastic competitors and it keeps us on our toes. Bill Gates. I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison. Effort only fully releases its reward after a person refuses to quit. Napoleon Hill. Empty pockets never held anyone back. Only empty heads and empty hearts can do that. Norman Vincent Peale. If you don't see yourself as a winner, then you cannot perform as winner. Zig Ziglar. There are no secrets to success. It is the result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Colin Powell. There is only one boss, the customer, and he can fire everybody in the company from the chairman on down simply by spending his money somewhere else. Sam Walton. A goal properly set is halfway reached. Zig Ziglar. Failure doesn't mean you are a failure, it just means you haven't succeeded yet. Robert Huxley. The best executive is the one who has sense enough to pick good men to do what he wants done, and self-restraint to keep from meddling with them while they do it. Theodore Roosevelt. Positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. Zig Ziglar. The true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. Only the best failures ever succeed. Never, never, never give up. Winston Churchill.